Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy, and we're here with Erik today from Survivor Micronesia. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us today, Erik.
Yeah, no problem.
So, how were you chosen to be on Survivor?
I applied just through the regular application, through the video, and I applied twice. The first time that I applied, I had just turned 21, and I applied for the China season, and they called me back, which I was amazed by because I just did it on a hunch because I knew how many people apply for the show. Yeah. And they said, "You're pretty funny, but you should try again because we're all filled up this season." So I got down to business, and I got my stuff together, and I sent in another one, and they said, "Come on out to L.A."
Excellent. So what did you do that you think they liked the most about your video?
My video, I was pretty much just working in hell. I was just acting crazy. At one part of it, I think I was naked for a while. But I was just being myself.
Excellent.
Okay, so the big question on everybody's mind, what was going through your mind when you gave up the necklace?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. There's no one answer I can give that'll explain everything to somebody who's watching it because the experience is so strange and so unique. But if I had to put it into some words, I would say there was a combination of the girls playing with my emotions or using my emotions against me, especially Amanda, pulling on my heartstrings all the time, and that got in the way of my strategy.
Mm-hmm. They did that really well. They manipulated you a lot. Do you hold any one person responsible more than the other?
I know that Amanda pretty much messed with me the most in terms of friendship and what you're thinking, because one day she would be my best friend, and then the next day she would just ostracize me and she'd say, "You betrayed me, you did this, you did that." And Natalie, I know, is really good at just persuading people to her side. She pretty much came up with the plan. Her and Sri pretty much came up with the plan of giving up the immunity idol, and they made it my plan. They made me believe that it was my plan that I made up.
Oh, excellent.
That was good. They did
good.
that. They did that well. Not good for you, but so what did you hope would happen when you decided to give it up? What were you hoping?
The hopes were, with doing this, first of all, when she brought it up the first time, I said, "This is the dumbest move ever." And then she said, "Hear me out, hear me out." And the benefits to doing this were, I thought that Sari and Natalie would see that this is a good move for them because Parv and Amanda are very close. They said multiple times, Parv and Amanda, to each other that they would never vote for each other, which is a huge roadblock. They're a solid 2 going down to the end. And I said to them, it's going to be Natalie, and then it's going to be you, Sari, and then you guys are both going to be out if you don't have somebody else to help you. And at that time, I didn't have an alliance. I had been following Ozzy before, and I'd been following Joel before that, so I really didn't have an alliance. I was kind of floating around, and I thought that it would help.
Well, that reminds me of a question. Jason told us that he didn't think you thought for yourself throughout the whole game. So what's your response to that?
If Jason said that, I mean, I don't know how much credence it has to it, but to be fair about that kind of thing, if you're not the best at manipulating people, if you're not the best at being aggressive in this game, you're going to be seen as a target. And my whole idea going into the game, my initial strategy was be unthreatening, because everyone here is going to want to be threatening. Everybody there is going to want to make big plays and big moves. And I just wanted to be the nice guy that kind of sits in the back and watches it. I wasn't going to be a player. I wasn't going to do that. And if you take that as I don't think for myself, that's how you take it. But that's what my initial idea was, just be unthreatening. And by that, it worked perfectly then. He said, Erik doesn't think for himself. That's what he saw.
He had just been blindsided. So.
True. This is true as well.
Yeah. So how hard was it to relive that experience when you were watching last night?
I tell this like everybody now. I mean, it's easier to laugh at it. It's better to laugh at it than to cry about it. Because if you don't laugh, you're going to cry about it.
You'll never let go.
Yeah, you'll never let go of it. And I know that Ozzy still doesn't let go about his, and Jason doesn't let go about his. And I go to Ponderosa, and I'm laughing about it, and they're just all stuck up. And so I'm like, you guys need to chill out. I made the biggest blunder ever, and I'm having a better time than you guys.
So was there any ceremony with James as he handed over the crown?
He gave me a big hug and he said, thank you so much.
Excellent.
Took the heat off of him.
Yeah.
Did you see anything that surprised you while you were watching?
I definitely did. I definitely was surprised at Parvati's game because I hadn't seen any of that because she had been an IRI for a while. I hadn't seen her make those very tight alliances with the girls. And I was a little surprised by Sari in her confessionals because when I saw her, Sari was the nicest lady ever to me. She was very, very nice to me. And then I see that she's saying all these other things going on. So that was a big surprise.
Okay.
Excellent.
So if you hadn't given up the necklace and you had made it to the finals and you were the one choosing who got to go to the final with you, who would you have chosen?
Now, see, there's two positions that I do to look at this. There's knowing then, in the spur of the moment, I would have taken with me probably Amanda and Parvati, which is, well, to be fair, Natalie and Suri, because that's the deal that I had with them if I would have given up the necklace. That's what I thought then. I thought I would take those two, and I thought that I could beat them. Knowing what I know now, I probably would have taken Natalie and Parvati, seeing as they pissed off everybody and they had so many enemies.
Yeah.
Good strategy.
So you proved in the immunity challenge that you're definitely a true fan of Survivor. Were there any other ways being such a super fan helped you during the season?
In terms of, I just knew how the game was run, just general things like that. That helped a lot. Knowing the past season helped a lot, but what actually ended up hurting me was because I was a super fan, I knew a lot about everybody except Amanda and James. I had a feeling that James was out early in his season, but he was just liked as a character. I had no idea who Amanda was. I had no idea how she played. And when I watched the season, I saw her actually doing what she did to me this season in China. And I said, you got to be kidding me. If I would have been there and watching it like I always watch it,
sure,
I would have known.
Yeah. So how do you think you would have done if you weren't up against the favorites? It's just, a bunch of fans like a normal season.
It might have been a lot different. I think it would have been a lot different, actually, because Suri and Parvati and Amanda were in it to win it. I mean, they were not there for anything other than that. They were cutthroat. They wanted to win.
Okay, so did you do the beautiful artwork on the flag?
Yeah, the Dabu flag, yeah.
That was awesome.
Everybody else just kind of wandered off. I pretty much made it. Everybody was out eating food and drinking beer for the merge feast. And while they all did that, I made up the name of the tribe and I painted the flag. And
so you're an artist.
Yeah,
Huh,
definitely.
Cool. So did you ever tell anybody about the Dabu?
I think I waited until Ponderosa to tell everybody, and they got a kick out of it. They're like, no way. And they're like, I knew something was up with that.
Excellent.
That's really funny.
So they knew later.
So were you injured in that challenge when you jumped over and hit your chest? How bad did that go for you?
It's surprising because I thought I was going to be very injured as well, and everybody thought I was injured. And immediately after, the medical team rushes over, and they say, Eric, oh my God, what's wrong with you? What can we do? It was actually strangely okay. It was very weird. Like
You're made of rubber?
I don't know. It's very strange. Like I had a red mark, obviously, from the impact, but I was actually okay. Like it knocked the wind out of me at most. Yeah. It's very strange.
Oh, excellent.
Well, all of our listeners that's in our listener feedback show, everybody was like, oh, man, we were in pain for him. It would just hurt to watch it.
Yeah.
We rewound it, though, and
watched it rewatched a couple
over
times. That's fine.
Okay, so in the challenge earlier in the game where you were playing the football-type challenge and you had the bag, you flipped Amanda over your shoulder, and we saw you dragging Eliza through, and you actually hit her in the head. Yep. And then somebody told us that you held Yao Man's head under the water?
Yeah, that was for a while there, because Amanda said this halfway through the season, too. She said there's like two parts to Eric. Like, in a competition, I'm going to kill somebody. Like, that's that Eric. That's competitive. And then outside of it, I'm just a nice guy. Like, I'm just kind of ice cream man. And in the challenge, I remember exactly when Yao was underwater, is that I was holding him underwater, and it began like I was just pushing him, and then I ended up holding him, and then before I knew what was happening, Eliza was hitting me, saying, you're going to kill him! Let go of him! You're going to kill him to death! And I go, oh, and I realized I was strangling Yao Man underwater, and he had given up the bag like a minute ago, and I finally let him go.
Oh, man.
And that was like fury. That was like, I got really excited and didn't know what I was doing.
And you forced him to change the rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yao Man told us that somebody held his head under the water, but he didn't even know who it was.
Yeah, because he was underwater.